in today's video, we're going to break down exactly what's happening in the altcoin markets, and I'll give you guys my updates on the latest altcoin rotations that I'm expecting in the market, pending if Bitcoin can continue its strength. So we'll cover that, and like the title suggests, I'm also going to give you my current altcoin positions, which are not Solana, not Avalanche anymore, because I think those hype waves have played out a little bit. Most people are onto these positions now, which means I'm looking for the next ones up. So I'm going to give you the updates for these and where I think the liquidity could be moving to next. So, okay, if you guys are new here to the channel, welcome. My name is Dennis. I'm a crypto angel investor for the past 5 years, and I have invested in over 100 crypto companies. On this channel, I share my views on market trends and investing strategy to build wealth in crypto. Okay, let's get right into it. So first of all, let's cover our Avalanche position really quickly. So in our last live stream, we have covered how, as people were super excited about Solana, I was already rotating into Avalanche last week because that muscle memory is still there, where most people expect these two chains to be the number one and number two alternative layer ones that's competitor to Ethereum. So Avalanche had a pop this week, coming up from $14 all the way up over 20. In fact, it has hit our take profit target. Now, I do have to say I sold this too early, way too early, in fact, because a couple days ago, right, I have been updating on Bitcoin's price action on our channel as well, and on our Discord and our Twitter, which you should join. And I was really heavily watching this formation, right? So on Bitcoin, for this 36.5K, it was looking very iffy. So this was 3 days ago before Bitcoin had this first drawdown here. So right around here, right, is when I was getting quite worried on this short-term, consolidation, but grinding towards the downside. And I gotta say, about 3 days ago, I exited my AVAX and AVAX Joel Benke, AVAX ecosystem altcoin positions as well. Now, they were in profit. I'm not gonna be sad about it, right? I exited AVAX around these ranges, and Joel around here. Benke very similar around here. So personally, I missed out on this second wave, and I didn't see this second wave coming on so strong. So could not have predicted that. So part of the reason why this played out really is because, well, AVAX really timed their marketing updates. So this week, I think yesterday and today, they have announced two huge partnerships, right? So number one is their partnership with JPMorgan, right? So JPMorgan is building their Onyx blockchain, which is it's a private blockchain meant for tokenization and for trading of equities and stocks and traditional TradFi portfolios using the blockchain for settlement. And this technology is powered by Avalanche. So Avalanche Evergreen Subnet. So if you didn't know, Avalanche technology allows them to run these subnetworks under the Avalanche brand, and they can pick and choose, if they want the networks to be certain private or public, and if they want to be more centralized or decentralized. So this makes a lot of sense for JPMorgan to go with a partnership like this. And also just today, JPMorgan has announced that they are doing the same with Citi as a proof of concept in partnership as this overall initiative called Project Guardian. So this is a project. This is a initiative directly from the Monetary Authority of Singapore. So a government, initiative from Singapore. I'm not sure if the Monetary Authority is like the Central Bank of Singapore. I'm not completely certain on that, but definitely a big announcement. So we're gonna dive deep into this as well. Okay, now before we get into this, if you want to follow all of our trades and all of our analysis, a couple ways you can do so. Number one is, of course, subscribing, but make sure that you follow our copy trading. So you can do so with our copy trading tutorial here, and you can also find it on virtualbacon.com. And second of all, make sure to join our Discord with the link in the description, discord.gg/virtualbacon. And here we have our free VIP program. You just have to sign up to one of our exchanges. I'm in the process of onboarding more exchanges to be supported as well. And here you can see all of our trade alerts. Every single position I take on is going to be posted in here. Open, close, stop loss, everything is in there. As well as quite often I'm in the market for altcoin alpha as well. So for shorter term, smaller altcoin plays, I'm also covering them in Discord. So that's definitely the number one place you should be a part of. Okay, now getting into the market deeply here. So from this AVAX news, I really think the market is a little bit overhyped now, especially on the price of AVAX. Very similar to what we saw on Solana's short-term rally last week when Solana was at 62. So right around here was when we did the live stream, right? And, it did make a new high, touching all the way up to 66. But I was really telling people to start taking profits around these highs because, well, your marginal returns on the upside is getting smaller and smaller. You might as well rotate to other potential opportunities in the market. And there's also the side of the overall market has to stay bullish, right? So very quickly, let's also look at Bitcoin, first of all. So on Bitcoin's chart right now, this is the most important chart we need to pay attention to before we get into altcoins, which is Bitcoin's current price movements. So Bitcoin key pivot level, I would say right now it is just testing this level at $36,300. So this was the level that that got me to sell my short-term positions before it made a major crash, and this level acted as a significant resistance here. Once it was broken, well, you see this recovery yesterday got a major boost, right? So now we're back to retest this level, and you see this level comes back to right here. So this level also coincides with the midpoint of this parallel channel that Bitcoin has been respecting and slowly trending up sideways for the past month. So I think we are at a very crucial point for Bitcoin. If Bitcoin can make a convincing bounce from here, right? So exactly from current price, if it can do even just a little bit, this will show me very good signs because that will be showing a clear higher low and another higher low, which means the uptrend is likely to continue following more higher highs and here higher lows, right? That will be super clear. Now, I am leaning towards this bounce to happen instead of it coming back down to retest something like 35K. This is because we already have seen a new higher high being made on Bitcoin yesterday, right? So Bitcoin, after this short-term correction that we had, the previous highs that Bitcoin made at 37.3K, that has been taken out, right? So Bitcoin clearly made a new high, touching as high as 37.8, which means that's half of the signal already for the uptrend continuation. Now we just need Bitcoin to respect the previous higher low, which is, let's say, at 35.3K. If you count all the way down towards the wick, that's at 34.6. But ideally, I would like to see 35.3 hold. Today, tomorrow, want to see a bounce before we reach much lower than here. So that's the basis of how I'm looking at the market right now before getting into altcoins. And just so that we are clear on this, I'm going to remove all these drawings as well. So from current price, right, towards this previous higher low, that is only a 2.75% difference, right? So that is why even if you think it could drop a little bit lower, I think the risk to reward here is really good to start entering into the market and start start getting positions again. Now, even if this drop does happen, we do have a very clear stop loss here, right below these lows, right? So let's say right at 34.6, right? In that case, the uptrend that we had for the past month will be invalidated, and that will be an easy sign to get out of the market and have a medium-term stop loss and readjust our entire strategy, right? Going from a uptrending period to a sideways period or even downtrending period, if this happens. But I'm not saying this is likely to happen, but just the fact that this potential drawdown here is so small in comparison to the upside that we could have, this is why I think the risk to reward here is really good. So this is the basis of why I am still interested in the altcoin market as we speak. Okay, now another really good sign that I want to show you guys is the total 3 market cap for entire cryptocurrency market. So where is my rainbow indicator? Here. So I'm going to show you this one. Yeah, this is the helpful one. So here we have the total 3 indicator. Not really an indicator, total 3 chart. So this total 3 chart shows us the total market cap of all cryptocurrencies outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum. So this represents the overall performance of the entire altcoin market and how it is doing. So you see this chart is looking really good and potentially showing a long-term reversal, right? We're talking about multi-year reversal. So you see here this resistance range between 400 billion and 440 billion is just getting tested now. And that is after price potentially making, first lower low, another lower low, and then a higher low, right? So a very typical reversal pattern before the new uptrend starts, right? And the last confirmation that we need before this major longer term altcoin run starts is for total 3 market cap to break above 440 million and come down to retest this range, right? So if we can get an entry here, when this confirmation happens, this would be a super good point to enter into basically all of your favorite altcoins, because once this signal gets confirmed, essentially all altcoins will run. It's just a matter of which ones will outperform the rest. So that's on total 3. And I also had the rainbow indicator on here drawn. And this is a little bit clearer shown on the total 2 chart, which gives us a longer term chart instead of total 3. So total 3 only applies to 2 cycles, whereas total 2 has been tracked for 3 cycles. And you can see this very clearly as well, because what the rainbow color pattern on the chart here is showing is that as we get closer and closer to the Bitcoin halving events, the risk to return for investing in altcoin markets gets significantly better. So there is a very good seasonality difference here. So if we map the Bitcoin halving events here on the charts, you see that in the 2016 cycle, right before the Bitcoin halving happened in July of 2016, these periods were the best time to get into altcoins, right? Not only Bitcoin follows this pattern, but altcoins as well. Because shortly after the Bitcoin halving happened, altcoins market cap went on to accelerate and have the actual major bull run kick off. Similarly, in the 2020, end of the 2020 bear market and going into 2021, we had a similar scenario, right? So altcoin market was consolidating sideways here. When the Bitcoin halving rainbow chart was going into dark blue or even purple ranges. And then finally, once the Bitcoin halving happened, the altcoin market started to shoot up very quickly. And now we are in a very similar scenario, right? So if you just give us the next Bitcoin halving right at April next year, right around here. So we will have a few months here from now until next April. But all in all, this potential breakout of the total altcoin market cap out of this bear market consolidation range matches the time frame of the Bitcoin halving and Bitcoin rainbow chart exactly, right? So this is a really good time period as well to be betting on this breakout to happen, right? So this is why I like to use these Bitcoin halving cycle charts as well to give us an indication of, give us a better edge to be betting on on either direction of this rally. So I do think there's a very solid chance for the altcoin rally to continue and for it to break out of this long-term resistance here and actually start the next long-term uptrend. Okay, so that's the basis of today's analysis. Now let's get into the altcoins, right? So in terms of the altcoin market, we know that Avalanche has been leading the spotlight in the past few days with their Citi announcement, with their JPMorgan announcement. This is huge. So I think this is a really good time to start taking some profits out of Avalanche as well. Of course, it can continue to run, even if it just carries on from Bitcoin, if Bitcoin, bounces back. But I think there are greener pastures out there now. And especially looking at interpretation of this news that they have with Citi, with JPMorgan. So let's dive into this, right? So in their latest announcement, read this, right? The Monetary Authority of Singapore released a white paper today focused on interoperability of digital assets and developed in collaboration with financial institutions, including JPMorgan's Onyx unit, HSBC, Standard Chartered, and Swift, among others, as well as Chainlink, Layer 0, and Avalanche. So not only is Avalanche the player in this developing the blockchain technology, but Chainlink is also there to connect Swift and the traditional financial system to these interoperable blockchains. Now, we have seen this development before, right? So this is not news to us because if you refer back to our previous live stream on Chainlink and how they're being used in tokenization, you see right here. So Chainlink has already had their partnership with Swift to test their cross-chain interoperability and moving assets between public blockchains and private blockchains. And on top of this, you see here, so this right here is what we had before, right? So the technical scope of Chainlink's, Chainlink's involvement in tokenization is that they act as the intermediary player between the banks and Swift and connecting them to public blockchains such as Ethereum. But also note here, it was already mentioned that Avalanche was one of the players that they're testing with. So all in all, yes, Avalanche is starting their major announcements now with JPMorgan, with Citi, with Singapore Monetary Authority, but they're not the only player. I think Chainlink is set to also gain from this. And I think if they are pushing this narrative heavily now with tokenization, with connecting private and public blockchains coming from the TradFi giants, then Chainlink is for sure going to be in that limelight. And that's why Chainlink is actually my top rotation going into next week, right? So very conveniently here, you see Chainlink has not made a new high for the past week, right? So while Avalanche has been going up since November 8th or so in this rally, right? Chainlink, if you look at its price, well, it has been doing this consolidation sideways. This pattern is not new to us, right? So in our last rotation video, we have covered this already, where we were talking about how Solana had this major run up 2 weeks ago, right? When Solana did this run from first week of November until November 11th, while Avalanche was doing this slow grind sideways consolidation before it finally broke out, right? So this is a very similar scenario again. When a trending narrative is there and when everyone is already jumping on ship, it's time to move on, right? It's time to, at least in the short term, move on to the next potential altcoins that will suck up the liquidity. And I think in this case, Chainlink is one of the top choices in the market because they are right in there with Avalanche to be powering RWA tokenization. Chainlink has been one of the strongest performing altcoins in this entire mini bull run that we had in the past month. Right, you cannot deny that. I know some people will think, "Oh, Chainlink is moving so slowly this week," but that's only because you weren't here, in the final week of October when Chainlink made this massive run, when everyone was talking about Chainlink, and also in the first week of November, right, when everyone was talking about Chainlink. So now, why would you not be interested in it now, since it hasn't been talked about as much? In my opinion, this is the number one rotation for me. This is the clearest one on my radar. So I have started to build a Chainlink position even from yesterday, from just below $15, and I'm continuing to build that building that position down to $14. Now, my stop loss would be just a little bit below these previous wicks that we had, right around, let's say, 13.3. But I think if we see more announcements coming from tokenization, coming from TradFi, people will start to catch on quite quickly. And Chainlink might even have some more marketing material that they have up their sleeves. So yeah, Chainlink, like the title suggests, is my next rotation. I think this is one of the much easier entries in the market right now compared to things like Solana, compared to Avalanche, which are both making new highs. Okay, now going a little bit deeper into Chainlink. Now, Chainlink doesn't have really any ecosystem tokens per se, but I think there is also one other altcoin that is much smaller market cap, but also follows the same narrative, and that is Axelar. So this is one that I think most people are not aware of, and most people don't know what it is. So Axelar is a very advanced cross-chain communication protocol, very similar to Chainlink and Layer 0. In fact, today, the top three players in this cross-chain ecosystem, top three infra players are Chainlink, Layer 0, and Axelar. And all three are very advanced. It's not like Axelar are way behind. So you can also see this in this latest announcement coming from Avalanche with their partnership with JPMorgan. So you see here, JPMorgan Onyx blockchain also tapped Axelar in its Project Guardian pilot. So here I found the Project Guardian website, which has all of the white paper that's been released from Singapore's monetary authority. And here in the technical white paper called Interlinking Networks Technical White Paper, right? You can see that Avalanche is the most mentioned blockchain player in here, being mentioned 15 times, right? And they're also co-authors of this white paper, AVAX. But also on this list we have Chainlink and Layer 0 as co-authors. And last but not least, if you look at the significance of Chainlink versus other cross-chain players in this initiative, you see that if you look up for Chainlink in this white paper, Chainlink doesn't actually get mentioned that much. So it's only mentioned once that Chainlink's cross-chain interoperability protocol can be used in this scenario, but it doesn't say if right now they are using Chainlink as bridge. Now, if you look at Layer 0, for example, Layer 0 is being used here. So you see here in this technical setup, you see Layer 0 was used to connect Onyx digital assets to Avalanche. So this is actually very interesting. So Layer 0, there's not really a way to invest in it right now, but very important to note that they are in fact, in this technology solution already. And if you look at Axelar, here you see Axelar is mentioned just alongside Chainlink and Layer 0 as well as the top 3 cross-chain protocols. And also you see here, interoperability solutions were put in place to provide connectivity between the networks, specifically JPMorgan's Onyx blockchain, etc. And Axelar was used to connect ODA, an EVM chain, to Provenance blockchain, another EVM chain, right? And if you look for Axelar, few more steps, here you see, even in the transaction flow here, Axelar is part of that equation, right? So Axelar orders are routed from ODA to Provenance blockchain and Avalanche through the interoperability infrastructure. Axelar and Layer 0 are the interoperability infrastructure. Chainlink is actually not included in this pilot program. So this is actually super interesting to me. I'm personally a fan of all 3 cross-chain solutions: Chainlink, Layer 0, Axelar. Chainlink, I think for sure they will be integrated in most solutions. Just this one alone doesn't actually use it for cross-chain. But nonetheless, I do have Chainlink. However, I think Axelar is really under the radar right now because everyone knows Layer 0 and Chainlink as the 2 competitors. But Axelar here, right, continuously being mentioned before Layer 0 even, and being used by the Monetary Authority of Singapore, I think that's really big news and speaks to their technology a lot. And on top of this, right, when you compare the market cap differences, so Axelar's market cap is at 500 million fully diluted valuation. Layer 0, when it comes out, at least going to be a few $1 billion. Chainlink as well, huge project already. So I think this is one altcoin that I am probably going to DCA into for a bit longer term. If you look at the price of Axelar since launch, it has also been quite cheap as well. It's much lower than launch price. So this is, I think, one altcoin alpha that I can give you guys. I don't think you'll find this many other places. I don't think this is one that can immediately run from this short-term hype because, well, the liquidity for this is nowhere near as high as Chainlink. Very few people know about this. But I think long-term, this project is definitely undervalued, looking at the type of integrations that they are working with now. Okay, so that's coming out of the Avalanche, JPMorgan, tokenization, and Chainlink news. So all in all, Chainlink definitely one of my topics going into next week. Okay, from that note, I have, let's see how many more. I have 3 more altcoins that we are only going to cover on the charts because I have been watching them very closely for even 3 weeks now. So number 1 is Injective. I finally managed to buy a bag of Injective. So Injective, again, not even just this month run, but for the entirety of 2023, Injective has been one of the strongest performing altcoins, right? Starting the year at $1.25, now it's $18, as high as $18. It was crazy, right? And in this recent run, coming from the Bitcoin run, Injective has also done amazingly well. So now it's finally giving me that long enough sideways consolidation. Because if you see, for the past month, on the daily time frame, it has not even gone sideways, right? Until about last week, until about 5 days ago, when finally you can say, okay, this period of consolidation here, this is long enough for Injective to build a new support base and for me to build a position in this. So that's why I have bought into Injective. Not much to say there. Just by being one of the strongest performing altcoins, I think the run for this is not going to end so soon. So if you look at the other 2 strongest performing coins of this year, right? Number 1 is Tau, right? BitTensor. This just continues to make higher highs and higher highs. I can never find an entry on this. And the other one that we also continue to cover, Caspa, also just continue to make higher highs and higher highs. So while Injective finally seeing that consolidation. So I would like to see Injective hold above this $15 support range, right? So if we take out this here, and then we draw kind of a neckline coming from this, right? So you can say that this is a short-term head and shoulders pattern. However, the head and shoulders, in order for the head and shoulders to play out, it not only needs to come down to test this neckline, it also needs to break below the neckline. So this is why I really want to see Injective hold about $15. And this is why I think the risk to reward for Injective here for a long position is really good. So looking at its previous performance, I don't expect this levels to be broken, which means even if I just enter right here and place a stop loss, let's say a little bit further below here, that's about a 10% difference here. While on the upside, I would target at least in the middle of this higher range between $20 and $25. So these higher levels come from directly the previous all-time high, right? So if we zoom out to the all-time chart on Injective, you see it's essentially just about to test its previous all-time high. So I don't see a reason why it shouldn't try to test the previous all-time high if the market makers think they have some more leg room to push this. As you know, the moment that a new coin gets into price discovery, it will be much easier for people to jump in, right? So we've seen this with Tau, right? Once it broke above its previous all-time high. We've seen this with Kaspa. You see here, Kaspa's all-time high that it had a hard time breaking above at 5 cents. Once it broke above that, the rally really started to accelerate. So I think whoever's behind this rally, right? Market makers, I don't see them stopping the rally here. So I really would like to see a test of the previous all-time high at 25. So that gives us really good risk to reward here as an entry. Even if you want to take profit in these highs, that's going to be 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio. So really good. Okay, that's on Injective. I had a couple more. Yeah, I had a couple more positions. So another one that I have built a position in is Arbitrum. Again, very similar to the chart on Link. So you see here, very similar, where in the past 7 days exactly, it has been doing this consolidation. Arbitrum here, very similarly, since November 8th or so, right? This whole thing has just been sideways consolidation. Where is it? Yeah, here. This whole period has just been sideways consolidation. And it continues to extend here. So longer the consolidation, the better the next rally. So the hype for Arbitrum is that, well, there is the Arbitrum incentive program we have been following forever. That is still being distributed as we speak. And there is the potential rotation from Avalanche on chain, where people go to trade in other chains by bridging tokens over. And one of the most popular chains for DeFi players to trade on is Avalanche, right? So that's the two things going for Avalanche. And also, last but not least, don't forget EIP 4844 upgrade coming for Ethereum even as early as next month. So yeah, all in all, Avalanche, another one of my positions that I have been building in the past week. And then lastly, Matic, very similar to Avalanche. It has the rotation scenario, has the EIP 4844 scenario. It has the Ethereum layer 2 scenario, and it has their migration from Matic to Polygon to the POL token with their new tokenomics. So all in all, I think Matic, I wouldn't count this one out as the end of the rally. And for the past, how long is this? 4 days or so, been consolidating. So this is one that I have been building position today as well. Okay, that's on Matic. Yeah, that's basically all my current rotations. So I think I don't hold any Avalanche anymore at the moment. Now, can Avalanche head higher? Yes, it can. But is it going to be as smooth as the past week? Right? Is it just going to shoot continually higher, all the way up? People are saying like Avalanche to $50 tomorrow. That's going to be hard, right? So now that they have released such major news with JPMorgan, how much more marketing material are they going to have, right? So ideally, I would like to see Avalanche come back down into this range, and maybe I would like to reload on Avalanche in this previous range here, right? So if we take out our previous trade here, move the consolidation range up for a reload. So if Avalanche can come back down towards $16 to $19, that would be much better entry for me. But at the moment, I'm not interested in Avalanche anymore. What I am interested in going into end of this week and early next week is Chainlink, is Injective, right? All of the coins that have been going sideways for the past week, but has been shown to be leading the market in this run. I think they will start their new rally soon. On top of that, we have, what were the other ones again? Axelar, right? So Axelar, I think a bit longer term play. We also have Arbitrum, very similar consolidation. And we have Matic, very similar consolidation here. So that's all of the altcoins that I am currently holding a position and looking to build position in this Bitcoin dip. And just remember, you always still have to watch out for Bitcoin's chart. If Bitcoin takes out these lows right at 35K, that's going to look very iffy for the entire market. And if this happens, I'm going to exit every single position. That's just the thing I have to do if this happens, right? Because if Bitcoin nukes and gets much lower, every altcoin will drop. So that's kind of a scenario I don't want to see, but I do need to watch very closely. Before I go, make sure to join all of our socials. You can find all of them with the link in the description. And most important place is our Discord, discord.gg/virtualbacon. Make sure to join there so you can see all of our trades, my personal alpha. We're trying to really build that up as well. And last but not least, follow me on Twitter or X, virtualbacon0x. This is where I post more quick alpha as I prep for these live streams. That's it. Thank you guys for joining, and I will see you in the next video and next live stream. Cheers. Bye-bye.